You were never ordinary. The spiritual contract you made before you were born, have you ever felt like you didn't belong, even among the people who love you? Like the world around you was moving in one direction, and you were silently being called in another? That feeling, that unshakable whisper in your spirit, is not madness. It's not ego. It's a signal. You are not here by accident. You are one of the chosen ones. And I know those words sound grandiose. They sound mythical. But I'm not here to flatter you. I'm here to remind you, because before you were born, there was a moment beyond time. You stood before the council of higher intelligence, before Source itself, and you agreed. You said, "Send me. I will go. I will forget who I am, but I will remember again. And when I do, I will help others remember too." That was the contract. And now, here you are living in a world that seems to reject the very light you carry. You walk into rooms and feel the energy shift. People either love you instantly or feel uncomfortable around you and don't know why. You attract broken souls, wild hearts, and seekers of truth. But you also attract envy, projection, resistance. Why is that? Because the light in you is ancient, and ancient light disturbs artificial systems. You don't fit in because you weren't meant to. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to awaken. But here's the part that shocks people the most. The protection around you is not normal. You've survived situations others didn't. You've walked through fires that should have burned you. People tried to curse you, lie on you, manipulate you, and yet you rise. Again and again. They don't understand how. They don't understand why. Do you?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
The truth is, you are spiritually covered, and not just by luck or coincidence. There are unseen forces that walk with you, guides, ancestors, energies that have been assigned to your mission. And every time someone tried to take you out, those forces stood in the gap. You've been delayed, yes, but never destroyed. That's not an accident. That's a signature of the chosen. Let me ask you something deep. Why do you think life didn't let you give up, even when you begged it to? Think about that night, the darkest one, is when you were ready to disappear. But something you couldn't explain pulled you back. That wasn't weakness. That was a reminder. That was your soul saying, "Not yet. You still have work to do." You see, being chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It means you chose to carry more. More pain, more lessons, more light. Chosen people are forged in fire. They are not made in comfort. Your life had to be heavy in the beginning, so your soul would be strong enough for the calling ahead. And calling it is. You may not have titles. You may not wear robes or beads, but you are a spiritual warrior in civilian clothes. You're not here to preach. You're here to embody. You are the living sermon. You feel more deeply. You see through masks. You sense what others ignore. That's not paranoia. That's discernment. And it will save your life more times than you know. But here's where it gets real. The closer you get to your purpose, the more resistance you will feel. People will project their unresolved wounds onto you. They will ask, "Who do you think you are?" But the real question is, who do you know you are? Because once you know, everything shifts. I remember a moment when I sat in silence for 3 days straight. No phone, no distractions, just me, the dirt beneath me, and the sky above. I asked the universe, why me? And the answer came not in words, but in understanding, because you were willing. Chosen ones are not always the most talented. They're the most willing to face themselves, to lose what's fake to find what's real, to walk alone rather than follow the crowd. You've probably lost friends, maybe even family. You've been misunderstood, misjudged, misquoted. But look at you, still standing, still growing, still glowing. And don't worry, your glow can't be dimmed by those who don't understand it. In fact, their confusion is confirmation. People ask questions when they see things they can't explain. Your aura, your energy, your peace in chaos, it unsettles those still at war within. But that's not your burden. Your only job is to keep remembering. Remember who you are and why you came. You are not here to convince anyone of your light. You are here to shine it. And as you shine, those meant to find you will. They will recognize you not by your words, but by your frequency, like a song they forgot they knew. And they will say, "There's something about you." Yes, there is. But before we go deeper, let's pause. Ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped hiding my light? Who would I become if I fully accepted that I was chosen? Because that answer might just change everything. Why they keep attacking you, the hidden war against the chosen. The attacks didn't start when you became successful, they started when you became aware. That's when the energy shifted. That's when you felt eyes on you that weren't physical. That's when people around you began to change, not because you changed, but because your light activated their shadows. You see, when you're chosen, you carry a frequency that confronts every falsehood in its presence. Without speaking a word, you disrupt illusions. And people don't like that. Not because you wronged them, but because your presence reminds them of everything they've buried. Truth hurts when it's been denied. So they lash out. They gossip. They project. They try to exile you. But all of that? It's not punishment. It's spiritual proof. The chosen ones are often misunderstood not because they're confusing, but because they're clear. You've probably noticed this. You walk into a room and people sense something about you. Some are drawn instantly. Others become distant, tense, even hostile. Why? Because your energy speaks louder than your mouth ever could. It tells the truth. It reveals what's hidden. It shakes what's asleep. You don't even need to confront people, they confront themselves in your reflection. And when people aren't ready to face themselves, they will try to destroy the mirror. That's why the attacks happen. That's why betrayal often comes from the ones closest to you. That's why strangers feel entitled to misunderstand you. It's not personal, it's spiritual. But here's the deeper truth. The attacks are signals. Every time you're targeted, it's a sign you've stepped closer to your assignment. The enemy doesn't waste energy on the irrelevant. The resistance you face is not a sign of failure, it's confirmation of alignment. And the protection? Oh, the protection is not random either. Have you noticed how, no matter how chaotic things get, something always intervenes? Oh, a delay that saves you. A no that leads to a better yes. A betrayal that becomes your blessing. That's divine orchestration. The chosen are covered not because they're perfect, but because they're essential. You are a key in the spiritual architecture of this world. If you fall, something vital is delayed. That's why heaven fights for you in ways you don't even see. But let me ask you something dangerous and deep. What if the very people attacking you were once your spiritual allies in past lives, now resisting your awakening because they haven't remembered yet? Can you still love them? Can you still walk in purpose without needing revenge? Because that's the next test of the chosen, to stand in power without becoming bitter. Oh, to be attacked and still protect your heart. To be rejected and still radiate grace. That's not weakness. That's mastery. That's what separates the chosen from the wounded. The world doesn't need more spiritual warriors who fight back with ego. It needs warriors of frequency, those who can hold light in the darkest rooms without losing themselves to the shadows. And understand this, the questions people ask about you: why are you so lucky? Why do things always work out for you? How do you stay so calm? They are not really questions. They are spiritual echoes. Something in them remembers something in you. They don't know why they're drawn to you or why they feel threatened, but their soul knows. Their soul recognizes you. That's why they watch you closely. That's why they follow your every move. That's why they talk about you when you're not around. Because your walk is not casual, it's coded. Every step you take whispers to the universe, I remember who I am. And when you walk like that, the world notices, even if it doesn't understand. The final activation. What happens when you fully step into being chosen? There comes a moment in every chosen one's life, a moment that cannot be undone, when the veil is lifted completely. When you stop asking, why me? And begin saying, of course me. That moment is the final activation. It doesn't arrive as a thunderstorm or a lightning strike. It's quiet, subtle, but irreversible. It's when your soul no longer negotiates with smallness. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop explaining your energy. You stop waiting for permission to be what you already are. And when that moment comes, a shift begins. The world doesn't change immediately, but your relationship with it does. You no longer react. You respond. You no longer seek. You attract. You no longer run. You rise. This is when people around you begin to panic. They may not say it out loud, but you'll feel it. Because when a chosen one steps into full power, the spiritual atmosphere adjusts. Old bonds break. Artificial relationships fall away. People who benefited from your confusion will suddenly call you arrogant, different, or lost. But you're not lost. You're found. You're found by your own soul. And that is terrifying to those who depended on your doubt. You see, the final activation doesn't just elevate you, it exposes everything around you that was quietly keeping you small. It's a spiritual earthquake. You'll feel it in your body. You'll feel it in the silence between conversations. You'll feel it when you walk into places that once held you captive and you no longer fear them. But let's go deeper. When you fully activate, even your presence begins to carry divine instruction. You'll say less, but people will hear more. Your silence will become a sermon. Your peace will become a protest. You'll start attracting people who don't want your energy, they need it. They won't always understand why. Some will want to be near you without knowing how to honor you. That's where your next lesson unfolds: discernment. Not everyone who comes to you is meant to walk with you. Some come to witness. Some come to learn. Some come to test. And you must learn to see through the surface. This isn't about judgment. It's about wisdom. You are no longer operating from emotion. You are operating from assignment. And when you live from assignment, you no longer fear loss. That's the real freedom. Because when you accept that you are chosen, you realize that everything meant for you will find you and everything not meant for you will fight you. Let it. Let people misunderstand you. Let them walk away. Let the doors close. The chosen don't chase. They align. You don't beg the universe for what you already embody. You become the vibration, and what matches it comes. That's not manifestation. That's remembrance. You're not calling something new into existence. You're recalling what your soul already knows is yours. And that level of power, it's unshakable. So let me leave you with this final question, the most important one yet. What would your life look like if you truly believed you were chosen? Not just sometimes, not just when things go your way, but every single day, every moment, even in pain, even in betrayal, even in silence. Because if you believed it fully, you would stop asking for signs. You would become the sign. You would stop looking for confirmation. You would walk as confirmation. And the world would have no choice but to respond to your truth. Because chosen ones don't follow the world, they shift it.